Hi, everyone. I'm Teryn Darling, and you're listening to the Tatter-a-Fact Podcast here at the Girlz Ink Studio in Las Vegas. I am so happy to have you hanging out with me today. Thank you, and let's get at it. So today, I want to introduce you to and talk to you about the new OMG Brow Pigments. 2 years in the making, 2 years plus, but they are here. They have arrived. As you know, I launched the OMG eyeliner pigments a few months ago. And although I've collabed on a lot of lines, the Loaded line, some of the aqua colors, Monica Avani, and more, I had yet done my own line. And I finally did with the OMG eyeliner pigments. And I knew what went in to those three pigments. I knew that they were the very best eyeliner pigments artists could get their hands on. I knew that. And I know that's a bold statement, but I'm certainly not going to release anything if I don't believe that. Right? When you're making pigments or products or even classes, for instance, putting classes out, I have to believe it's the very best. It's the best in the industry. Or I'm not going to release it. I'm going to continue working on it until I do believe that. So I released the 3 OMG eyeliner pigments believing that they were going to be the 3 best eyeliner blacks in the industry. And I knew artists were going to love them. But when you know when artists come back time and time again and reorder them. And they're reordering them time and time again because they've used them on multiple clients. They've seen the healed results on numerous clients, and they love them. That's how you know. And that's exactly what happened with the OMG eyeliner pigments. So thank you, everybody who ordered them, who are using them. Thank you for all the comments, all the feedback, all the videos and pictures you tag me in, me and everybody at Girlz Ink. We super appreciate it. So here we are, a few months later, and the OMG Brow Pigments are here. And I'm so very proud of them. I can't wait. I cannot wait to get them out to you. So, and again, I believe with all my heart, these are the 4 best brow pigments in the industry. And again, I know that's a bold statement and may sound overconfident, too confident, but I wouldn't have released them if I truly didn't believe that. I'd still be working on them until I did. So what I did was, there's lots of different pigments out there, and the last 3 or 4 years, I really paid careful attention to what artists are saying about pigments, what they like about pigments, what they don't like about pigments, what they want in their pigments, what they wish their pigments did or didn't do, things like that. And I made a lot of notes. The Facebook boards are a fabulous source for the truth and what artists are thinking, the truth of the artist, their truth, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what they're liking, what they're disliking about pigments. Or when an artist would post something about a pigment, whether they liked it or disliked it and things like that. And I made scrupulous notes. I have a whole notebook full of notes. And then I talked to a lot of artists artists of all skill levels. Some artists, you know, their name is very recognizable in the industry. Some names are not. I have lots of conversations and emails with lots of different artists all over the world, all the time. I love talking to artists. And so with all that intel and all that information, like I said, I just wrote a lot down, and I then set out to create the ultimate set of hybrid brow pigments. With all that information, I set out to create the ultimate set of hybrid eyebrow pigments, and I did that with the OMG Brow Pigments. The OMG Brow Pigments are made with some advanced technologies, and those advanced technologies allow for quicker and easier implantation and saturation, and that's really important. When we sit down to do an eyebrow on somebody, we want that pigment to implant quickly, easily. We want it to saturate quick. Because if it does, then that's less time in the skin, which means ultimately less trauma. And it makes the procedure more enjoyable for both the artist and the client. So that was really important. That was a hyper focus for me. And I'm going to tell you how we did that. So the OMG Brow Pigments, they implant quicker and easier than ever before. And another super duper hyper focus was the aging process of each color. I had to make sure that each shade in this set aged with a gradual, even fading process, uniform fading. I had to make 100% sure that there was no red or gray that could ruin the reputation of a line. So I had to make sure there was no red or gray aging, that these 4 shades were super stable and they aged uniformly. Uniformly. I think I said that right. And I did. So because the eyeliner pigments, the OMG eyeliner pigments are so popular, you know, I talk to a lot of artists that are using them. They reach out, they send me little comments, they send me, you know, they tag me in their pictures and their videos. And a lot of the artists using the eyeliner pigments, you know, are asking me if I'm coming out with brow colors. And I didn't tease them or anything. I was just like, yes, currently working on them, coming out soon, stay tuned. So because of that, these 4 brow pigments, the OMG brow pigments, are highly anticipated, and I fully expect them to become the industry's hottest disruptor. Yes, I said it, the industry's hottest disruptor. And I say that because of all the conversations I have with all the different artists I have all over the world. I'm constantly talking to artists. I know the industry is ready for something new. I heard it over and over and over from artists all over the world. They're just ready for something new and something different. The OMG brow pigments, they are new, they are different, and that's why I think they are going to make a huge splash in the industry and be a topic of conversation, good conversation. The OMG brow pigments broke all the barriers, and I believe they will set a new standing for jaw-dropping excellence. 100%. This is how much I believe in these 4 pigments. So the OMG Brow Pigments are made in the USA. They are made in the LI Pigments Manufacturing Lab in New Jersey. And again, 4 colors. I did 4 shades. I'm launching with 4 shades because I wanted it to be easy, right? So 4 shades that are beautiful right out of the bottle. And they can be mixed to create those custom in-between shades that we need for all our different clients. So due to the simplicity of only 4 shades, this makes learning the OMG Brow Pigments and choosing colors for your clients really easy. And that was important for me. Now, I have 2 other colors, 2 other additional OMG Brow Pigments that I am currently working on, and they'll be ready next year. So I'm launching with the 4 box set. So here's the box right here. If you audio stream us, then you might want to jump over to our YouTube channel so you can check out the box real quick. But it's just a beautiful box. It's simplistic, yet cool. You put a couple cool factors on it, but kept it clean, modern, and simplistic. So the OMG Brow Pigments, and it has a little magnetic open top here, and we spared no expense. This is not a cheap box. It's the minute you get it in your hands, you're going to feel the weight of it and how good it feels, the high quality of the box. And when you open it up, look at that. There's a little quote on the inside cover. I'm not going to read it to you. You have to purchase the box. We have, are you ready? I'm going to announce the names. We have Blonde Shell, Cocoa Tease, Bitchin' Brown, and Vixen. Yeah, I love those names. All very contrasting colors and fantastic colors. And underneath the pigments, there's a lower insert where you'll find your pigment information that's required by Mocha. That sits really nicely in a little compartment underneath the pigments. So when you open your box, this is what you'll see. And then down here is a compartment that holds the Yorker caps. So really well done, super high quality, and I'm very proud of them. Okay, so back to, let's talk about the performance. So first of all, I do want to say that, and I may get this question, because LI did manufacture them. Are they white labeled? No. God, no. I would never in a million years do that. First of all, you'd know it. You guys are smart. You would know. And second of all, Darlene, the owner of LI, will not do that. I know I have talked about that before, but the colors in aqua and velvet, those are all exclusive to LI. That formula is exclusive to LI, and she will not white label those colors. You could ask Monica Avani. When she came in, she had to create her own shades. So every shade in the OMG set, all 4 shades, are super unique shades. There's no shades out there like them. They're unique, custom-made shades. One of the shades took me 14 edits to get. That is a lot. So I'll tell you about that in a minute. But a lot of work went into just the shade, the tone of each color, let alone the formula and the performance. So very unique shades and very unique formula that I think you'll experience and recognize right away with them. So let's go over what makes them so good and uniquely different. So first we have color neutralization, right? Which ensures no red or gray fading. So what is color neutralization? It's the process of perfectly balancing yellows, green and red in specific percentages and ratios to provide color neutralization and uniform fading. We utilize numerous yellows, both inorganic and organic. And we added specific amounts of green and painstakingly tested the amount of red required to create each shade with richness, neutralization, and provide stable aging. And then, of course, black is added to get the depth of tone. So this delicate balance of color, and it is a delicate balance, ensures each shade is neutralized and will fade uniformly without any rogue colors, without any red or gray. It's the color neutralization process, and to master that process comes with experience, comes with testing, it comes with knowing your raw colorants, how they perform, knowing your raw pigment manufacturers. It requires a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience and a lot of testing, to be quite honest with you. One color in particular, Cocoa Tease, has 5 different yellows, both inorganic or iron oxide, however you like to refer to it, and organic. 5 different yellows. And then we combined and added some green, and then, of course, a little black, and you get the beautiful, stunning shade of Cocoa Tease. So yellow-green was, and the combination of yellows and green was really, really important to color neutralization, making sure each shade was color balanced, neutralized, and going to age uniformly with no red or no gray. So that's number 1. Number 2 is color fusion technology. What is that? Well, this is a proprietary technology that LI has been working on for quite some time. And it is the bonding of inorganic and organic colorants, the bonding of all the different inorganic and organic colorants used in the formula. Like I said, this is a proprietary technology used during the pigment formulation process that helps bond the colorants together, which in turn helps provide uniform and gradual fading of each shade without any rogue colors, no red or gray fading. Number 3, we were very meticulous in using colorants that had similar light fast strength. Light fastness, as you may already know, is the resistance a color has to fading, to UV exposure. The higher the number, the stronger the light fast, and the more resistant it is to fading. So when you're making a brow shade, it's really important to pair colorants that are all high in similar level when it comes to light fastness, like 7s and 8s if possible. that is going to provide uniform fading. If you make a shade that has colorants with a light fastness of 4, another one of 5, another colorant has a light fastness of 5, and then 2 colorants have a 7 and an 8, then the low light fastness, 4 and 5, is going to fade rather quickly, and all that's going to remain in the skin are the other 2 colors that have the higher light fastness, the 7 and the 8. So really important to pair colorants that all have similar strength when it comes to light fast. And we did that with every single shade in this set. So those 3 things right there, color neutralization, color fusion technology, which is color bonding, and pairing light fastness, those 3 things ensures that each color is perfectly balanced, perfectly neutralized, and will fade uniformly with no red or gray. And I know how important that is to every single artist. It's important to me. It's important to me. I am an artist. First and foremost, I still see clients. I got 2 brow clients tomorrow, as a matter of fact. I still see clients. I'm a working artist, and I will be as long as I possibly can. I love it. It's my favorite part of what I do. I love seeing clients. I love the craft and the art of implanting pigment. So everything that's important to you is important to me, equally as important to me as a fellow artist. So I know how important it is to trust our colors are going to age stable, right? We're sick and tired of the grays, and we certainly don't want to see any more reds. So very important. And the OMG Brow Pigments deliver in that area 100%, I assure you. Okay, let's move on to number 4. The OMG Brow Pigments are ultra micronized. Ultra micronized. What does that mean? It means we grind and milled the pigments to be ultra fine. So the pigments have the ability to implant super quick and easy. Implant and saturate super quick and easy. Quicker than ever before. They are ultra micronized. And I know that's important. When we sit down, we want our pigments to implant as quickly and as easily as possible. The OMG Brow Pigments were made with maximum color, maximum concentration levels. Maximum concentration levels. We got these pigments as concentrated as scientifically possible, which provides quick and easy saturation and oxidation, which is important. If we can saturate that skin quicker, and that pigment will oxidize quicker, showing us the saturation level quicker, then we're going to spend less time in the skin. There's going to be less trauma, right? It's important that oxidation happens quickly, just as well as saturation happens quickly. If we don't see the oxidation quickly, then we may misjudge the saturation we've already accomplished. So ultra-micronized and maximum concentration levels really deliver high performance when it comes to implantation, penetration, saturation, and oxidation. The OMG Brow Pigments are made with superior quality raw colorants. So you can assure these pigments are safe and they are pure. So what does it really mean when I say raw pigments? I know you've seen it before. Well, it means that we did not buy or use pre-mixed colors, right? Because pigment manufacturers can buy pre-mixed colorants, pre-mixed colors. We do not. We used individual raw pigments that once we received them from the raw pigment manufacturer, LI personally retests them to 100% make sure of safety and purity. Then they mix them together using the formulation technologies I just told you about to create 4 perfect shades. So basically, we made them from scratch, just like a baker makes a cake from scratch. So you can count on the fact that the OMG Brow Pigments will heal to a beautiful shade alone, right out of the bottle, or mixed together to create custom shades. You can count on the fact that OMG Brow Pigments will fade uniformly out of the skin. All right. What else can I tell you about the OMG Brow Pigments? Well, they're formulated for all needles because of the viscosity. I paid careful attention to the viscosity of these pigments, meaning how thin or thick the pigments were. Because a lot of people out there are using really thin needles, like the Vertex needle, right? Great needle, but the needle tip is super thin. So if the pigment is a little too creamy or a little too thick, it's not going to flow down the Vertex needle or other needles with a long, thin needle tip. And then artists don't like pigments that are too watery. I see that complaint all the time. So the viscosity of the OMG Brow Pigments, I would describe it as not too thin, certainly, not too thick. I would describe it as like a silky consistency. Like when you squirt it out on a plate and then you pick the plate up, it's just got this nice slow run to it. I knew what I was looking for. I knew what I wanted, and it's hard to do. It was hard to accomplish with a couple of the colors, but we did. So a really nice viscosity with a nice silky consistency that's going to work with all the different needles. I tested them with many different needles to make sure they worked with whatever needle you might be using. So you're going to love that about the OMG Brow Pigments. And they are versatile. They are super versatile. So they're not made for machine or for the manual method. They're not made specifically for microblading or specifically for shading. No. These pigments had to be super versatile and be ideal for machine and whatever needle you were using. They had to be ideal for the manual hand tool. They had to be ideal for microblading, ideal for shading. And they are. And I think you're going to really like that about them. They can cross right over from shading to microblading, machine or hand tool, your favorite needle. They're going to perform. They're going to work for you, which you're going to love. They are certified vegan, which is better than vegan friendly. There's vegan friendly, and then there's certified vegan. Certified vegan is a big step above vegan friendly. So the OMG Brow Pigments are certified vegan. Got my notes here. I didn't want to forget anything. What else can I tell you? They are pre-modified, right? Neutralized. Two different ways you can kind of term that: pre-modified, neutralized. So, and we did it very carefully and very responsibly. So each color is really rich and safe to use on all skin types. The drying time is, I would say, average. They're not going to dry too quickly by all means. We tested that with every shade. I would pour them out in a pigment cap and let them sit. Set my timer for an hour, go back and look at it, set my timer again. So I went back 2 hours. So each color was meticulously tested for drying time. So I would say the OMG Brow Pigments, they're water-based with added glycerin. And they are a moderate drying time, preferred by most artists. If you want a longer wet time, which some artists do if they mask or they microblade or they work a little bit more slowly, then you simply add 1 drop of glycerin, which you can get on the Girlz Ink store, and you increase your wet time. It's that easy. And they are ideal for all artists, right? The OMG Brow Pigments, these 4 colors, were made to perform at the highest level for the most advanced, skilled artist. And they are safe for those artists just learning. And ideal for all techniques, like I said. Whether it's whip shading, pendulum, circular, pointillism, hair strokes, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's why 2+ years went into the development of these, and they were tested by many different artists using different needles, different techniques, different skill levels. So the OMG Brow Pigments, I think you can hear it in my voice. I'm super proud of them, and I can't wait for you guys to get your hands on them. So I know I made a lot of bold statements, confident statements about these colors. I wouldn't have made these statements if they weren't true. Not at all. And I talked a lot about how they are stable, uniform shading, uniform aging, and they won't age red or gray. Right? We really super hyper focused on that and put a lot of things in place, did a lot of things to ensure that. It was really important. I was not going to release these pigments, man, if there was any chance of that. I just was not. No way. This is the very first time in my career, celebrating 24 years. I finally have my name on a brow line. And by gosh, they were going to be the best 4 pigments, you know, that could be made. And they had to perform at this level. So I made a lot of statements. I told you what went into making these pigments and ensuring the balance, the neutralization, stable aging, uniform fading. And that is all true. With that said, you guys, you know, although the OMG Brow Pigments were made with all this knowledge, all these processes and technologies, right? And these are top tier pigments that will excel in performance. Decisions and techniques that you will make, the artist makes, ultimately determine the performance of any pigment. If you improperly assess client skin, right? Improper assessment of client's skin, improper modification, you add warmth when it's not needed, or if it is needed, you add way too much. These pigments are neutralized. There will be some cases with clients that have exceptionally cool skin where you may have to add a little warmth. But these pigments are neutralized and balanced. So if there's improper modification from the artist, whether by adding it when it wasn't needed, or if it was needed, adding too much, or not adding additional warmth when it was needed. If you implant these pigments too shallow, if you implant them too deep, these are just a few of the variables that can warrant less than beautiful results, that could warrant unexpected, unwanted results. And these are all decisions and all variables controlled by the artist. By the artist. So it's really important that you understand skin and you can properly assess skin. It all starts with skin. I can't say that enough. It all starts with skin and accurate skin assessment. And then your implantation. Perfect implantation, perfect depth. And knowing when to modify and when not, and if so, how much. Those are all outside variables that can affect the healed end result of any pigment. Any pigment. So I did my part. These pigments are top tier pigments, and they are made to perform, and they are made to age uniformly. If they are used properly, you will not get red or gray results. But it's up to artists to dive into education and empower themselves with the knowledge of skin, modifiers, and all kinds of things. Skin, number one. Got to be able to assess skin. And you know, if you're unsure about skin, like I got a great course, Beyond the Epidermis. And I've got the Beyond the Epidermis book and checklists that are fantastic and will get you to where you can ace skin. You can look at skin and assess it quickly and accurately with every single client. And when you can do that, every other decision that follows will be the right decision because you've assessed skin accurately, because it all starts with skin. So here's what I'm going to do. If you're listening to this podcast and you want to take the Beyond the Epidermis course and learn skin inside and out to where you're super confident and you never make a mistake again when it comes to skin and the influence that skin is going to have on that pigment and ultimately your healed result, right? Because skin can be highly influential. It influences the pigment to heal one way or the other. Skin is a big dictator of the result, the healed end result and tone. And we have to be able to go in and identify the skin and the influence it's going to have over the skin and then modify, right? Make the right decisions so those influences that the skin has on the pigment are not bad influences. Got to neutralize some of those influences. So if you want to take my Beyond the Epidermis course, I want you to email I want you to email training@girlzink.com. Training@girlzink.com, and I'm going to send you 50% off. I didn't tell Olivia or anybody I was going to do that. But I got going on skin, and I want you guys to learn it, damn it. I want you to learn skin. I just spent, a month on the East Coast doing a class called Master Your Healed Results. It's not on the Academy yet. It's an in-person class. I've been doing it in person all over the East Coast out here to perfect it before I launch it online. And skin is where it's at. There's so many factors about skin that I taught. That was just so enlightening. You could see their faces just light up and their eyes get big. So Beyond the Epidermis, email training@girlzink.com, and I'm going to send you a 50% discount code so you can take that course. It's excellent, and you get a year access, and it will leave you feeling extremely confident, and you'll be a really smarter artist, and you will become a critical thinker if you're not already. Okay, so let me just go over each color real quick. Got blonde shell. Blonde shell. It's a hybrid, and it does not contain black carbon. We used iron oxide black, inorganic black. Blonde shell. It's a stunning, deep dark blonde with a golden base that is just slightly warm, and it's opaque. It provides excellent coverage. It's amazing color. You can use it alone, and it's beautiful. It's that deep dark blonde. I knew my blonde had to be dark, like a dark blonde to a light brown, and that's where the industry is now, right? We're not using really light blondes anymore, or most are not. So it's a dark blonde. And on some skin types, it might heal a light golden brown, but it's got a deep golden base, slightly warm. Use it alone. It's going to age fantastic. You can add it to the other three colors to lighten them a little bit, or add a little bit of warmth, golden warmth, if you like. So fantastic. You're going to love blonde shell. Cocoa Tease, that's my medium brown. It is neutral. I think this is the most perfectly balanced, rich, neutral brown you will ever get your hands on. It is fantastic. It is crafted with 5 different yellows. It's stunning and is ultra neutralized. It is a hybrid. And in Cocoa Tease, we used a micro amount of carbon black to obtain the darkness, the depth of tone. When we crafted it, formulated it with iron oxide black, it wasn't giving me what I wanted. It just wasn't. So she sent me out another sample with a micro amount of carbon black. And I mean micro. Super micro. Because it's a medium brown. And just changing from that inorganic, that iron oxide black to the carbon black, boom, there was my Cocoa Tease. Vibrant, depth of tone, the exact shade that I wanted. And I know some people are afraid of carbon black. Fear not carbon black. We need not be afraid of carbon black. We just have to understand it. What's most important is not if it has carbon black in it, but the type of carbon black that's being used and the amount that's being used. And the type of carbon black used in pigments is always important across the line, no matter what. The amount of carbon black in each shade becomes important when we're looking at our client's skin, right? Because some skin does not hold pigment gracefully. Some skin is going to do better with an inorganic black. So that's when the amount of carbon black comes into play. Skin type. So Cocoa Tease has a micro amount of carbon black, but it's ultra neutralized with 5 different yellows. And I mean, this color is beautiful. It's an outstanding mid-tone brown that will impress you. And you can use Cocoa Tease to darken up blonde shell as needed. Beautiful mix, and create a custom tone between Cocoa Tease and blonde shell. It's absolutely fantastic. Then we have Bitchin' Brown. Don't you love that name? I love that name. I knew I created a color to match the name Bitch and Brown. Usually you create the shades and then you come up with names to kind of match the shade. But I already knew I was going, Bitch and Brown was going to be one of my names. So I had to create a shade that lived up to the name Bitch and Brown. So this Bitch and Brown, it's a hybrid, and it contains no carbon black. And I did not put carbon black. Well, because I got the shade I wanted with an iron oxide black, and Bitch and Brown is a dark medium, right? So there's medium, light medium, and then there's dark medium. So Bitch and Brown is a dark medium. So I wanted to create it with iron oxide black if we could, and we did. I got exactly what I wanted. It's a hybrid. It's just a perfect dark medium brown that I think Bitch and Brown is going to be the artist's favorite. I think it's going to be the most ordered favorite color. I just do. It's just one of those colors. It's neutral to slightly cool, and it's got a nice, beautiful golden undertone, which allows it to heal that beautiful tone and still maintain its sensational richness. You'll see what I mean when you order it. And Bitch and Brown you can use to darken Cocoa Tease or Blonde Shell. And then last, our fourth color, we have Vixen. And she is just as she sounds. She's a deep, dark, cool brown. And on some skin types, Vixen may heal to a blackish brown. She was carefully crafted to heal deep, dark, and bold with the perfect amounts of warmth and neutralization to keep her rich in tone. It's an all inorganic. Vixen is the only shade in the OMG brow set that is not a hybrid. It's inorganic, contains no carbon black, and that's what it took to get to this shade. So when I went into this line, these 4 sets of colors, I didn't go into it like it has to be all organic. It has to be iron oxide. It has to be this. It has to be that. It can't contain carbon. It must contain. I didn't really go in that way. I went in really open-minded and willing to use either colorant or a blend of both, whatever it took to get the shade and the performance I wanted. So that's what I did, and that's how these 4 beautiful brow pigments were created. Vixen, deep, dark, stunning. You can use Vixen to darken Cocoa Tease or Bitch and Brown. So I'm currently working on a mini color theory course focused on these 4 pigments. I'm going to run them down. You can see what they look like, and I'm going to talk more in depth on how to use them, who to use them on, and give suggestions on if a modifier might be needed, and if so, when. So I'm working on that course. It's going to be free, and it's going to be online. I'm hoping that course is ready and available by the time the brow pigments launch. If it is not, there is a great CIC that comes with your box set. It's inside the box, and it's like 4 pages, like a fold out, and it's very detailed. We highlight each color, we list the CI numbers, we give you the temperature of the pigment, a really great description of the pigment. So it was really, really well done, and it's an excellent guide on how to best use each pigment. But like I said, I'm working on that, and I'm really hoping that that is up and ready for all of you by the time the pigments launch. So launch, let's talk about that. We have the pigments, we got them in. There was a limited number. We have more coming, but for right now, we have a limited amount of box sets. So with the Vegas PMU conference starting in just a couple of days, we decided to bring the box sets to the Vegas PMU conference, and we expect them to sell out. So the OMG Brow Pigments are going to be on pre-order the entire month of October. So they're going to be available for pre-order, and we will be shipping all orders out by mid-November at the very latest. It could be sooner, but no later than mid-November. So that's how you can get your box set of the OMG Brow Pigments if you're not going to be at the Vegas PMU conference. Pre-orders all through October. Keep an eye out. And again, we'll be shipping by mid-November at the very latest. So that's it. That's the OMG Brow Pigments. I'm super excited. And I want to thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me the entire episode. I appreciate it. This podcast couldn't happen without you. And I'm just grateful for you all. So thank you very much. I hope you check out the OMG Brow Pigments. I think you're going to love them. Until next time, stay in the pursuit of happiness.